handing over to our table topics master, Shawnté. Welcome, Shawnté.
Good morning, everybody. Hi,
Good
Masters
morning.
of Evaluation. I am excited to be here. I am excited to be your new member, and I'm excited to bring you guys table topics today. Why? Because with table topics, we get to speak extemporaneously, and I can use the word extemporaneously, and everybody on here knows what I mean. So I get really excited about using that word. I have some great thought provoking questions for you that I will ask and then call on somebody who does not have a speaking role to answer my questions. So let's get started. We heard an amazing speech by by Vincent, who talked about Ciliana and living there and the beauty of it and the history of it. Now, some of you may or may not know, I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, which also has a very big, great history that I would love to share with you all when I have a little bit more than 2 minutes to really talk about it. But my question for you is, tell us about where you're from and the history of your hometown. Kathy.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This moment is a fruition moment for me because while I was in bed, hadn't gotten up yet, I was thinking, gosh, I really would like to have a table topics question. So I got it. For me, I'm a native Los Angelian. So what do I say about here? Sunshine, blue skies, the Pacific Ocean. I think people come to Los Angeles also, especially when they move here from other places. They want to get into entertainment. I'm a native to here. I don't even think about that. The majority of my friends don't think about that. What do we think about? We think about the fact that we can go to the beach. We can watch the sunset over the Pacific Ocean. We can also, earlier in the day, we could have gone skiing in the mountains. Because of the geography of Los Angeles, we live in a desert. We can go outside of the city and we can be in sand dunes. We can go north of here, we can be in the forest. I think that that is something that is unique to Los Angeles or Southern California that people just don't even begin to understand. And I think that's one of the things that makes here very unique opposed to other places. I'd rather be here than a whole lot of other places, especially those places that are landlocked. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, I'd rather be here too with you, Kathy. That's why I came, so we can enjoy California together. Now, as second speaker, Scott talked about tolerations versus non negotiables. Now, I will let you know that my toleration is my closet over in the hallway. It is extremely messy. I need to really work on that. So I'm going to go through your 4 points, Scott, definitely to make sure that my closet gets clean. But my question for you is, what is a toleration that you have that now listening to Scott's speech you are going to work on? Lavenia.
Thank you, Shawnté. I'm sure Scott has whipped all of us up, and we've got a busy weekend ahead of us to take care of those things we've been tolerating. One of the things I've been tolerating is my car. It needs a car wash. It needs to be cleaned out. Yesterday, I picked up a chicken thigh bone in the passenger side on the floor. And when I looked on the side of the seat, there were a couple of fast food dressing dip containers. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So, although it was coming to the front of my mind that I need to clean the outside of the car because of the dust, I now need to go to, I have a second reason to go to the car wash. And just little things inside the car, like the armrest is like a little wobbly. I was listening to the radio and the speaker behind my ear right here was like popping. I'm like, okay, this has got to stop. So I decided yesterday that I'm going to work on one thing on my car per weekend. So now I'm going to really stick to it. Thank you, Scott. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Lavina. Yes, my car is probably on that list too, but I think my closet is probably going to take precedence in that. But I'm going to bring that to fruition, and by Saturday, it is going to be neat and clean. So thank you. Now, I consider myself a foodie in that I probably am going to eat or try everything at least one time. I had a trip to Florida, and the one food that I tried was gator. Now, I don't know if you've ever eaten gator from Florida. That might sound scary if you haven't, but it was absolutely amazing. So good that I went back and I had to try it a second time. My question for you is, when was the last time that you tried something for the second time? Jack.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. What did I try for the second time is a wonderful question. Because offhand, I can't remember what I did try for a second time. Usually things go for the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 10th time. But there must be something that I can think about that I tried for the second time. Yes, I can remember one thing. In my closet, which is packed and packed with different clothes, I dug up an old, ugly sweater that I had worn once before 6 years ago. Guess what? It still fit. I put it on for the second time, and I hated it. It was disgusting. Colors that I had, orange and greens and purples. I would never, ever wear that sweater, and I am going to give it to Goodwill so that someone else could enjoy it. That way, my hopes for the sweater will come to fruition, and and hopefully someone else will love it. Madam Table Topics Master.
That is amazing. We are gonna, yes, let's bring that to fruition. I have an ugly sweater in my closet that remains there. I don't know why it's still hanging there, but I think I might have to put that on just because. Maybe I'll like it. We'll see. Well, since we're talking about being a foodie, one of the things I loved on the East Coast was New York pizza. New York pizza is absolutely amazing. Now, when I came to California, you guys have good pizza too, but it just wasn't for me. So I'm always in this debate with people like, who has better pizza, New York or California? And we'll probably never know. But my question for you is, do pineapples really go on pizza? David.
Thank you, Madam Topics Master. Do pineapples go on pizza? So I could answer your question directly, but I risk alienating probably half of our members, whichever position I take. I don't know. Maybe I don't. We should add that to the poll list, Madam General Evaluator, maybe for later in the meeting. But I'm not a pineapple on pizza guy. I like have a special pizza recipe. I make my own pizza bases and have a little pizza oven. And the one recipe for pizza that I have is really unique, and I recommend you try it. About 10 years ago, an Indian couple, friend of ours, came over from Boston to Ireland to visit us for a couple of weeks. And all our pizza types, other than margherita, which is kind of a little bit boring, right? They all have meat on them, right? So we had sausage and black pudding. And so black pudding, by the way, is a very traditional Cork dish. It's blood sausage. Doesn't sound so nice, but it tastes delicious. I can tell you. Anyway, so they came over, and their idea to make pizza a little bit more interesting, other than just a few vegetables, is curry powder. And it was amazing. It was like curry powder pizza. Doesn't sound like it goes particularly well, but it is really, really good. Now, you combine our West Cork black pudding, blood sausage on a pizza with curry powder, and I tell you what, it's unique. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but it is really, really good. So that's my one. Forget about the pineapple, curry powder, and black pudding. Back to you, Madam Topics Master.
I have never tried curry powder on a pizza, but I may now because that actually does sound quite appetizing. I'm going to bring that to fruition. I'm going to go and get a pizza later, and I'm going to put some curry powder on it. Thank you so much, David, for that question. Vicky started the meeting off with letting us know that good evaluations elevate the speaker. Now, I had a friend who had a not so good evaluation. And because of that, she is a little reluctant to speak again. Now, I've tried to tell her and explain to her that, sometimes everybody doesn't see your vision, and try to convince her to come back and speak. But I would like to know what words of encouragement you would give to my friend so that she could speak again. Sharon.
Madam Table Topic Master, I would let your friend know that her presentation at that day or on that day was powerful. I would give her encouragement words. I would let her know that that we all started where she is today, and that the words that she heard from her evaluator were just the thoughts of that evaluator, and not to be halted, because she has a voice and she has to bring that voice to fruition. She has a program and she has a passion. She has to stay within her purpose and constantly encourage her that yes, practice, practice, practice. Practice does not mean perfection. It just means you're getting better. Madam Table Topic Master.
I absolutely love that response. Thank you so much. Stay within your purpose and practice, practice, practice. I might steal a little bit of that for myself too, Sharon, but I am going to pass on the message to my friends. Now, one of my favorite quotes is by Lisa Nichols. If you do not know who Lisa Nichols is, you need to Google her. She is absolutely amazing. But one of my favorite quotes that she says is, "I am not an extraordinary woman. I just choose each day to make extraordinary decisions." I would like to know, what extraordinary decision did you make yesterday, Judith?
Thank you for this question, Madam Table Topic Master. No, I never thought that I was an extraordinary person and had to convince myself for many years that actually I am an extraordinary person for myself. So the extraordinary decision that I made yesterday is because I am battling some kind of a health issues here, that I no longer will succumb to this situation I am in. And I thought it was a pretty extraordinary decision I made. And I have decided to stand by that. One of the extraordinary, well, I don't know how extraordinary decision is, but I seem to make decisions every single day of how extraordinary it is, but to change various things about the way I think, the way I do things. And since I am talking about some of the topics that's covered here, I am a minimalist. So I am a person who hates clutter, and I don't keep old sweaters in my closet. I keep everything away immediately that I didn't actually use or wore more than a year or even less than a year. So I am perfectly good at this sorts of thing. And so I make decisions, okay, let's get rid of this, let's get rid of that, and just clear out things. And I always feel so much better once I am done with this. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for that. I absolutely love that as well. You are extraordinary, and I'm happy that you shared that. So thank you so much. Now, to bring somebody else's responses to fruition, my first plane ride, you guys, was from Boston, Massachusetts to Chicago. Okay, I didn't go too far, but it was really, really exciting for me because it was my first time going up in the air. It was my first time flying through the clouds. And if I told you why I was there, you'd probably laugh. But if you guys remember the show, oh my God, I just forgot the show. Whatever. I was on a talk show. And the talk show had flown me to Chicago for the day. But I loved it so much that I actually decided, you know what? I'm going to be a flight attendant because this is absolutely amazing. So my question for you is to tell us about your first plane ride. Vicki.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Well, I'm old, so it was so long ago I can't tell you, but I do want to tell you about a plane ride that I was on in the last 5 years that took my breath away. I was flying, I fly all over the country, I fly all over the world, but I was flying East Coast, West Coast. I was tired, I was coming home. And as you're queued up, and when you fly a lot, I usually get a pretty good seat. And there was this little boy, and this little boy was clearly on his first flight. He was jumping up and down where he was standing. He was talking to everybody within earshot. And shame on me, I'm thinking, please, Lord, do not put this kid next to me. I just don't want this. I get on the plane first. I get in my seat. And you know how you sit there and hope you see somebody and you hope they don't sit next to you? Well, this little boy is hopping through the plane, talking to everybody, and he hops right past my seat. Thank you, Lord. He sits probably 5, 6 rows behind me on the other side, talking nonstop, going, oh, mon Dieu, this is going to be a long flight. As he's all buckled up and the plane starts to taxi, he gets very quiet. Oh, great. As the plane begins to take off, the plane's completely quiet. Suddenly, he yells at the top of his lungs, "We're flying!" And all of us laughed. And I remember thinking in that moment, when was the last time I realized flying? It was such a beautiful moment because this little boy did not have any filter on just his joy and his emotion. And it reminded me to really appreciate the moments and realize I sat there, I thought, I'm flying too. Didn't yell it. But I think that's the power of children and seeing what happens when we don't worry what others think, but just come from our heart. Madam Table Topics Master.
That is amazing. Next time you get on a plane, Vicky, just yell, I'm flying. What everybody else does. Now, I'm going to bring this into fruition, but I think I have time for one more. Okay, awesome.
Actually, yeah, just one more.
Just one more. Okay, we'll make this a quick one. So when I was 17, I was excited about everything, just full of life, full of energy. If you asked me to do something, I probably would run around and do it twice. I was just very inquisitive and just wanted to know everything and put my hands on everything and just learn everything. Now, in my older age, not so much as easy to jump into things. But I often wonder this question that I'm going to ask you, that if your 17-year-old self could speak to you now, what would your 17-year-old self say to you? Kate.
What a wonderful question, Shawnté. And thinking all the time about those ifs. Usually I say ifs, because that if is a very hypothetical situation, and it depends on so many circumstances. And when you say, if you were, what you would say, just to think about that. But I would say vice versa, not what me at 17-year-old would said to me now, but what I would say me now to me when I was 17, because I'm the same energetic, the same that time and now, so I didn't lose my energy. So I can, I moreover, I can say I'm more energetic now, but my energy now is more focused and more rational. And I would advise that to my young my young me. Yeah, use your energy in the right way and don't waste your time. I would use Scott's advice with non-tolerance and tolerance, non-negotiable and tolerance. And also, I would say you are beautiful. You are amazing. You are extraordinary, and live your life and enjoy your life and don't care about anyone's opinion. Yeah, you should care about opinion, but only those people that you really care. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Table Topics Evaluator, Mr. John White. John, you're up.
Thank you very much. This was a great session of Table Topics from our newest member, and Shawnté came prepared. She's just bristling with energy and enthusiasm. I didn't think she could be contained within the Zoom space. It was really something else. And there's always varying degrees of strategies. This was a peaceful, loving, kind, but still provocative questions. Sometimes you have these questions go, oh, this isn't going to go well. I'm just trying to survive. I think this really gave everyone a chance to do well and to explore table topics. Also, I always like someone who teases the questions properly. So we all have to think, perhaps I'm going to have to respond. Well done. She started off by referring to the speeches. I always give kudos to someone that can talk in the moment, refer to the speech. So that was great. Then she went on to food, bad evaluations, and it just was a myriad. It was a mishmash. It was a smorgasbord of topics. Let me just talk about some of the strategies used. Kathy, I always like you. You are never to be pigeonholed. Kathy is the contrarian. I live in LA, and she went on to give a little Chamber of Commerce, but before she got too scripted to that, she went on to say, you know, I'm not into the Hollywood thing. So she's contrarian Kathy, and I always like that. We know what Kathy thinks. Lavenia, descriptive details. Sometimes you need to fix up your car because it's jacked up, but when's the last time you found a chicken wing? A chicken wing? I mean, that really brings it home. Okay, so it's one thing to say it, it's to give description. Like Lavenia, like if you would offer me a ride, I mean, I'm gonna check the seats. I'm gonna, you know, I feel I'll chip in for that car. I mean, it was really great details. I love that. Under the stumped but not defeated theme, Jack, you didn't know where you're going to go. I didn't either. Thank God you had that messed up sweater. You've obviously worn it 100 times, but you used it to satisfy the answer about using it twice. Well done. Again, not everything is award-winning. Someone's like, you didn't trick me. And Jack, I give you kudos to that. David Ryan, ever the diplomat, not wanting to offend anyone. But the question now, pineapple, demands an offensive response because that's an offensive treatment of a pizza. So I would have given you license to do that. I was disappointed by your diplomacy. Then Sharon, I wanted Sharon's question. You turn that on the right way to give the kudos to the lady. Who here doesn't want to say in a lifetime of it's not you, it's me, to finally say it's not me, it's you. It was that damn evaluator who gave you a raw deal. I don't know what's wrong with her. She had a bad day. That was a great speech. Keep on giving it. You're bigger than that bad day. That was powerful. I wanted that question. Judith, I sometimes have this issue of accepting compliments. Sometimes in table topics, we can go the improv. Yes, and you didn't want to accept that you were extraordinary, but then you later on talked about the things that you were doing to face a challenge that was extraordinary. It would have been easy to succumb to it. So maybe sometimes we just take the pat on the back and roll with it. Vicky, I knew you were never going to punt, but when you said, I don't remember my first plane ride, I'm too old, I thought, oh God, is finally after all these years, she's going to crash and burn? No, she pivots. She talks about this irritating kid. I thought, oh God, is she going to go old, get off my plane, lady? No, she turned it into a pivotal, poignant, powerful moment. Vicky Trabosh, you are too good. Finally, Kate, I'm bad at listening, but I think what was asked, because we all know, what would you tell your 10-year-old? We've all heard that. No, this is what would the 17-year-old tell you. You handled it well, but I would have loved a response to the real question. I hand it back to Sharon, Giles, and Word Premier. Thank you very much.